92.
Just 2 years into this new decade, and the landscape was changing when it came to entertainment. And this year in particular was a very memorable one indeed. The Summer Olympics had Barcelona as its host. The Denmark national football team overcame the odds to win Euro 1992. Bill Clinton went on to become the 42nd President of the United States of America. But enough on life events, and let's move on to more important things, shall we? Now, as an avid fan of video games, some of my most played games during my young days came out this year, and 3 games in particular caught my fancy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, Street Fighter 2, and Super Mario Kart, all of these on the Super Nintendo. I have already covered these 3 in earlier videos, so please do go and check them out. Turtles in Time, a great amalgamation of the cartoon show mixed in with some movie tie-ins, with non-stop button bash action which I played for hours on end. Street Fighter 2, which would go on to become the granddaddy of the fighting game genre, and inspire several clones and competitors, as well as various versions of itself. I would forever have the fundamental basics down for the rest of my life, and it serves me well playing right up until this very day with Street Fighter 5. After years on the 2D platform, Mario would trade saving the princess for having a race with his friends and enemies in Super Mario Kart, a franchise that would go on to have its own wing in the Mario Kingdom and create several follow-ups with advancing technology and graphics, but still kept to the basics that has made the series a legendary cult classic. A new challenger would enter the fighting game arena in the form of a game that caused quite a stir with its bloodbaths and its gruesome fatalities. It was a complete alternative to Street Fighter 2 in terms of look, feel and execution, especially as Mortal Kombat used digitized actors for the game. It also led to the now infamous showdown in Congress about the violence in video games. I wonder what they would say now given what the fatalities have evolved into for modern day Mortal Kombat fighting games. Yep, that is wholesome family entertainment. Whilst Mario was trying his hand at racing, he was also continuing his adventures on the Game Boy in Super Mario Land 2: The 6 Golden Coins, the game that introduced the world to a new character in the form of Mario's nemesis, Wario. I was a fan of the first Mario Land game and I really loved this one, but sadly for me I never had the chance to complete this game. I need to get on my emulator and I need to get to work right now. The third game in the Contra series, Contra 3: The Alien Wars. It had made its way onto the Super Nintendo to rave reviews by fans and critics alike. I have to confess it wasn't a game I spent a lot of time playing, but thanks to the SNES Mini, I've become more acquainted with the game, and had I still had my youthful exuberance, I would have either clocked or come close to clocking the game. I just don't have that patience as an adult to follow through anymore. Excuses. It was 1992, so wrestling was also a part of my young hood, and I was into the larger-than-life characters on screen, so getting the chance to play as Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, or the Undertaker, it was just simply fire for me. Yes, the graphics haven't aged well, and it was just really a thumb-staking button mash fest, but I didn't care, and I played this game a lot with all my friends. Many thumbs were bruised during this game's inception. The Caped Crusader Batman had a double appearance this year, first on the big screen with Michael Keaton reprising his role 3 years after his first go-around with the 1989 flick. Joining him would be Danny DeVito as the Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. This second installment was way out there in terms of violence and its rather strange gothic-like feel and settings. I remember watching it at the time as a young kid and feeling very weirded out. It had a completely different vibe and feel to the first movie, and it ended on something of a cliffhanger with Catwoman still apparently alive. This unfortunately was never followed up. What we got with the follow-ups Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, well, I think we all know how this went down. The second appearance of Batman came in the form of Batman Returns the video game, which made its way onto the Sega Genesis of December 92, and then later in 1993 on the Super Nintendo, and the SNES version was largely considered the superior version. As I was a SNES kid, I never did touch the Genesis version, and the SNES version I played much later down the line towards the end of the SNES lifecycle. So Batman Returns the video game wasn't, shall we say, one of my all-time favorites, just a game that was there. Rounding up on the video games, 1992 saw the releases of Echo the Dolphin, Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, starting with Sonic, I vaguely remember the first time I played its predecessor, Sonic the Hedgehog, which came out a year earlier. But prior to this game's release, it was all over cable TV being advertised, and also being advertised in games magazines all over. When it dropped on the Sega Mega Drive / Sega Genesis, it was a revolution indeed. Sonic was seen as the main rival to Mario, whereas Mario just jumped around on squashed enemies at a walking pace. Sonic sped through the levels like a speed demon while also jumping on enemies. Sonic was seen as the cool teen kid's idol as opposed to Mario, who was for the more younger generation. The game also introduced a new character in Tails as Sonic's sidekick, and he just basically followed him around for most of the entire game. I personally loved the first bonus stage with the 2-player mode, jumping to see who could get more coins. There really was nothing like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and to this day, it's my personal favorite entry in Sonic the Hedgehog's massive game library. Next up, we have Echo the Dolphin, released to critical acclaim from both critics and fans alike. A game about a dolphin swimming around various levels, fighting various enemies. I must confess I didn't play this game much growing up either. It was just because I personally didn't find the appeal like other games. It had its charm and its moments, but it just wasn't one of my personal gaming highlights from this year. Then we had a double dose of SNK, Capcom's main rival, in Fatal Fury 2 and Art of Fighting. Fatal Fury carried on after its first game was a hit, with more additional characters, including 4 non-playable boss characters. But the game that really stuck out to me in the fighting series was Art of Fighting, and in particular the 2 main characters, Ryo and Robert Garcia. They were like the Ken and Ryu of Art of Fighting. Legend has it that Street Fighter Alpha character Dan was a joke character created in response to Ryo, only he didn't play as well, which I didn't know about until years later. Frankly, don't see any real difference. The game overall played very well with a unique zoom-in feature which added to the game as a whole. SNK were really trying to rival Capcom in the one-on-one fighting game genre, and these 2 titles did a good job of creating an alternative to the mega popular Street Fighter 2. And finally, 1992 saw the release of a brand new video game show over here in the UK, the groundbreaking Games Master, with Dominic Diamond as its main presenter and Patrick Moore as the Games Master, in the shape of a giant floating head. It was a show that was a mix of gaming tournaments, game reviews, upcoming releases, tips and cheats, and celebrity appearances. I didn't get to watch the show until 1995 when I came to live over in the UK. From the first show I watched, I was immediately hooked. It would air on Channel 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 in the evenings. It was the perfect thing to watch after school was over. It went on to run for an impressive 7 seasons, ending in February of 1998. A groundbreaking show indeed. And after that high note, this is where I end today's video. Join me in the next episode for the conclusion of
Was the year 1992.